America and Canada are neighbors. Well, they share the world's longest international border. They have one of the closest economic relationships on the planet Earth. Millions of people, they travel between them. Businesses depend on each other. Supply chains cross the border every single day. And yet today, that friendly neighborhood, well, that relationship, that is looking much less friendlier. Well, Donald Trump has imposed 50% tariffs on about $20 billion worth of Canadian goods after trade negotiations between Washington and Ottawa that broke down. In the meantime, Canadian Prime Minister Mr. Mark Carney, he has promised to respond with tariffs of his own, dollar for dollar here. Now, when you hear the word tariff, you may immediately think about steel, car, machine, big industrial products. But here is where the story gets more interesting. Some of the Canadian goods now facing higher costs are surprisingly ordinary, even something as unusual as base material statues. And yes, items ranging from hockey sticks to tongue depressors are part of the tariff impact here. That is what makes this trade war so much complicated. You know why? Because governments announce tariff at the top, but the consequences that travel all the way down, they eventually reach businesses, factories, farmers, shopkeepers, and even ordinary consumers. And Canada is not taking this very quietly this time. Mr. Carney has described the whole situation as an attack. He has promised a matching response. And suddenly, two countries that have spent decades building one of the world's strongest trading relationships, well, they are now talking like rivals. Now, the political language, it has also become much sharper. Mr. Trump has accused Canada of wanting the benefits of being a US state without actually becoming one. Canada says it will not accept Washington's demands here. And American politicians from states that depend heavily on Canadian trade are also very, very angry. In the meantime, New York Governor Kathy, well, that person has criticized the tariffs. Minnesota Senator Amy, he has also warned that higher tariffs means higher cost for businesses, for farmers, and for the families. And you know what? Here's the bigger issue here. The question is, who ultimately pays the price for the tariff here? Well, that is a question people often miss. A tariff is imposed on imported goods, but the economic burden that can move through the supply chain. A company may pay more, a manufacturer may pay more, a retailer may pay more, and eventually, well, the customer may pay more. So when politicians say that we are taxing another country, well, the economic reality, that can be much more complicated for people like you and me. In the meantime, Canada is already preparing its own response, and the dispute that could even put pressure on the future of the USMCA, the North American Trade Agreement governing roughly about $2 trillion in annual goods and services between the US, Canada, and Mexico. But perhaps the most revealing number, that is not the tariff rate. It is the number of Canadians changing their behavior. Tourism between these two nations, Canada and the US, it has suffered now. Fewer Canadians, they are willing to travel to the south. In fact, a poll cited in the material, they found that only a small share of Canadians now view the United States as a trustworthy ally. Can you think about that for a moment? A trade dispute has begun affecting something much deeper now, trust. And when trust between neighbors, that starts collapsing, let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, the economic damage, that can become only the beginning of something big.